told my father, listen, I wanna make music. People were telling me, you crazy, you gotta stop. I struggled for the first year. I couldn't even pay my rent. It was crazy. How dare you promote drugs in our culture? You come to our culture, you don't know anything about it, and all of a sudden you promote drugs. I went 4-time platinum. I was getting more plays on daytime radio than Katy Perry at the time. And I blocked everything and turned down the record and said, do not release that record anywhere. She didn't want the success.
Welcome back to the MBH podcast. Money buys happiness, guys. 90K subs. Fucking love you guys for real. Thank you so much. The support has been crazy. The numbers have been flying. So we love you guys. Appreciate you. And already know if you're here and you're not already subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment. We're easy. We take anything, right?
And if you're listening, make sure you give us 5 stars.
Yes.
We always forget about the listeners.
Yeah, I know. It's true. It's true. And there's so many of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Where are we today, Ernesto?
We are
Who are
in
we
South
with?
South Beach with Cedric Gervais. All right.
Yes.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, buddy?
Did I pronounce it pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You're good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For sure?
Gervais. Yeah.
Gervais.
Gervais. We're doing
Gervais.
Maybe it's the Italian in me, maybe.
Huh?
Gervais.
Gervais, yeah.
Gervais. Cedric Gervais.
Yes.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for
Yes.
having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're in South
Thanks for
Beach right
coming.
now.
Yeah.
We definitely want to hear your story. A lot
Okay.
of people know you. Obviously, you've been killing it for decades, I would say.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I want to start with how you started DJing, when that happened, and at what point in your life you were at when you kind of discovered DJing.
Well, I started at the age of 13 years old.
Okay.
So I grew up in Marseille, south of France. And the culture in France at the time was heavy electronic music. So we weren't listening to hip hop. We're listening to rock and roll and electronic music when you grow up. Yeah,
Okay.
It's like,
Oh,
that
rock
was
and
the
roll?
culture. Yeah. So yeah, that was the biggest thing. Hip hop
Really?
was like a very small part.
Okay.
French hip hop
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the culture. And so basically all the kids on the weekend will go to raves.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't go to nightclubs. So there'll be raves. And at the time, you had to meet, because raves were illegal, so you had to meet at a meeting location, right? And the guy would hand you a paper with the direction of the rave. That's how it worked.
That's crazy.
Right? So you pay for the thing, then they tell you where to meet the guy, and they will give you the thing, the paper, and then you'll go to the rave, and you will see like 100 DJs playing that night.
So that was like real underground, like
Real underground stuff. And
Yeah.
I was going with all my friends, so I was obsessed with electronic music. Where I really started, I was 15 years old, and I went to see Daft Punk perform live.
Daft Punk.
Without a mask, with nothing, in my city of Marseille.
Before the
It was
mask.
2 guys,
wow.
Thomas Bangalter and Guy Emmanuel, by themselves,
Yeah.
playing with their machines live in front of everybody. And there's a famous picture, I wish I can find it, of me sitting in front of them. I'm rolling my eyes out. Okay, I'm like fucked up. Yeah. And I'm looking at the guy, and he's like on the TB303, which is like this bass machine. Guy Emmanuel is like this, and there's a picture of me just like this, like looking at him, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
mesmerized.
Mesmerized by it. And when I went home that day, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, it's crazy. The Daft Punk,
From that moment.
from that moment, it was like, I was like, this is it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to make music. I want to DJ. I want to do all these things. But it really, the Daft Punk, and the crazy story about this is, fast forward years later, and the night that I won a Grammy is the night that Daft Punk won their first Grammy for the album.
Holy
Come
shit.
on.
Bro,
Come
full
on.
circle.
I was sitting there with my manager, and I was just looking at Daft Punk accepting the Grammy for Best Album.
Yeah.
And I just won my Grammy, right?
Uh-huh.
For Summertime Sadness with Lana Del Rey. And I was just like remembering that moment where I was a kid,
Yes.
just looking at these guys and be like, that's what I want to do.
Unreal.
That's the craziest
Full
shit. I got
circle
chills when I
moment,
tell you
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Full
So
circle
13 years
moment.
old is when that happened. 13?
13 years old is when I got in love with electronic
Okay.
music. Obviously, I was
15,
too
you said.
young.
15.
15 is when I decide this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Right?
So you figure
go
it out.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you go there. You see this happen.
I see that happen.
And what's the next step?
I
How
go.
do you?
Next step is I buy turntables, Technics MK2 at the time,
Yeah.
vinyl. I set up this in the basement of my grandmother's house, and I'm DJing for 6 hours a day.
Poor grandma, no?
So I'm buying, no, but she was supportive. So,
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to record store during the day. I'm buying after school. I'm buying vinyls. You know, at the time you had to go to record store buy vinyls.
Yeah.
I'm buying those vinyls, and I'm going home, and I'm DJing for 6 hours in the basement like crazy. That's all I'm doing. Then I learned how to play music, instrument, guitar, piano, everything with my stepfather. Cool. So I was really involved in music. And but my career started. I became the youngest resident in the hottest club in France called Queen in Paris. It was a gay club.
Okay.
And I became the youngest resident, 17 years old, to be the resident of that club. Okay. Right? And it's like only big DJs are playing that club. Like it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But what happened to me is when I started that, Paris shut down every club. Like the day that I started, a week later, they shut every club down, every bars, everything because of drugs.
Okay. What? Just too much going around or something?
Yes, they shut everything down. So I'm like, I just moved to Paris from Marseille. I'm like, that's it, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in the hottest club after all these years of learning, whatever. And now my dream is crushed. I can't do anything. So a friend of mine at the time was living in Miami.
Okay.
I'm 17 years old. And this guy's like, listen, come with me to Miami, and then when everything's settled down in Paris, just you go back and go work.
Yeah,
and I showed up in Miami.
But I want to know prior to that, like is your family supportive? Like what's going on in your life while you're trying to get to that point in Paris?
So my father used to be on nightclubs and restaurants and everything.
So he's in that lifestyle already.
Yeah. So it wasn't lifestyle. So I told him, when you go to school in France, you can't just drop out of school. You have to be in front of a judge, and you got to tell the judge. The parents have to tell the judge, why are you taking your kid out of school? You can't get off school like this.
What? Okay.
So I told my father, listen, I wanna make music. I want to be a DJ, a producer, whatever. And my father, as crazy as he is, he goes, okay, no problem. So he went in front of the judge and he said, I'm taking my kid off school, and the judge is like, why? He's gonna be a DJ.
The judge probably like, what
the
the
judge
fuck?
thought my father was crazy. Yeah. Obviously, you have to do homeschool and all these things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But my father supported me and took me there.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I had there was a club in Saint-Tropez called the Papagayo.
Okay.
Saint-Tropez is a hotter city in south of France, you know. And in the summer, I was able to do a season as, a resident DJ there.
Cool.
That's what I skipped. I forgot to tell you why I ended up in Paris. Is the guy that ran the Queen in Paris was running that club at the time.
Cool.
So my father got me the job there and was driving me every weekend to play and be the resident.
They were real supportive. That's amazing.
Big supporter. And I have another story that's going to give you chills, right?
Okay.
Because I told my father, I want to get off school and I want to do a DJ. My father said yes. So I get to the Papagayo. The guy from the Queen is there, sees me this summer. He's like, this kid is amazing. We've got to bring him to Paris. So that's how it started. So now you fast forward, I'm at EDC Orlando, and I bring my father, huge fan of mine, right? Playing main stage. That's the time that I had Summertime Sadness. My career was like fucking going crazy, right? And I'm about to go on stage, and there's like maybe 40,000 people in front of the stage screaming, chanting my name before going up. And my father is like this with the camera filming. And I went to him and I just tapped on the shoulder and said, Dad. And I said, you remember when I asked you to get off school? He looked at me, he goes, what? I said, you remember when I asked you to take me off school? I goes, this is why. And then I walked up on stage and everything. And he started crying.
Yeah.
Sure, of
He
course.
started cheering up. Like it was like this.
Of course.
100%. Because to take that chance, like you're so young.
At that
That's
age,
crazy.
that's
My
the
mother
thing,
thought he was nuts
Yeah.
when she did that. My mother was fighting him, everything. And my
But there was
father,
no hesitation. He's like, yeah,
no
problem. You wanna
hesitation.
do this?
He's like, you want to do that? No problem. I support you. Let's go.
But were you always, I guess I want to know, were you always maybe a kid that sort of like you put your mind to something and...
That's it, yeah. I was always like that.
Okay.
I never had a job in my life. I never worked.
Really?
Yeah. I never worked in a day job.
Just
I just wanted to make music.
Yeah.
I was, I worked, one time I worked in a record label.
Okay.
To learn the business. It's like more internship. I wanted to learn the business. So I went over there in Paris and I just...
Yeah.
I wasn't getting paid. I was just like learning.
Yeah.
And in terms of how you were learning, how were you learning at that point? Were you just educating yourself on being a DJ? How? Because now you can go on YouTube, figure out how to
no, you
use
just
the
you had
turntables.
to learn. You didn't have internet. I didn't have a phone at the time. There was no phone, no internet, nothing. I was just like
insane.
You know what I mean? It's like you had to to go and listen to other DJs and see
Yeah.
and go to record shop and find the records, and nobody would tell you what's the hottest record.
True.
had
That's
to go.
the big difference.
So you had to go to the raves, listen to the guy, and see the reaction of the crowd, and be like, "Oh shit, this is." And people would talk about this record that's about to play or whatever.
Yes.
And then you had to find the record in the record store if you can find it, and then you had it.
Yeah, because you can't even you can Shazam it and be like, "Hey, what
Nah,
song
there's
is this?"
no
It's
way.
like-
We
And
didn't
was
have
there
any
was
of
there any DJs that you were looking up to at that age at 17?
Yeah, Carl Cox was one of
Carl
them.
Cox.
legend, yeah,
Yeah,
legend.
Laurent Garnier, which is
Yeah.
French legend. The Daft Punk, obviously. It was more in the techno world at the time because techno was very heavy.
Yeah.
Big at that point.
Yeah.
So you make it to Paris. You essentially everything shuts down.
Crazy.
You're
Everything
holy-
shut down,
You're
my
like,
dream
holy
is
fuck.
crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward now, your buddy says Miami.
Yeah.
Why Miami? Do you know why Miami?
Because my friend was living here at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he invited me to his house.
Cool.
So I'm sleeping on this guy's couch. I show up in Miami. I had like $70 in my pocket. I didn't speak a word of English.
Yeah.
But how was that for you at that age, coming on
It,
your
wa-
own?
it was tough. It
Yeah.
was tough. I remember like one time he was living at the Grand in downtown.
Okay.
Was the only building in downtown. Downtown was like you will get shot at the time if you
Yeah.
walk
Yeah,
around
yeah,
downtown.
yeah. I
It
always
was,
hear
like,
that.
Serious like. So I'm just looking at the city of Miami and I'm like I'm start getting homesick. I'm like I'm in a different country. I don't understand anybody that speaking. And then I had like homesick, but in my head I was just looking at the city and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take this city over.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like swear to
Yes.
God, like I was 18 at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna take this city
So
over.
at that point, you knew you weren't gonna go back.
I
to
knew I
France.
was not gonna go back. Yeah,
And you
Wow.
didn't speak any English at the time?
nothing.
That's the part that I always find interesting when people move to a country and don't speak the language. Like
Yeah.
aside from not being with your family, like holy fuck, you don't speak the language. Like how do you communicate with people?
Was your
like,
friend from France as well that was here calling you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Okay.
Paris. He spoke English.
Okay.
Okay.
He was living in
he
Miami.
was your
He had an
translator?
apartment at the time. He lived here, and yeah. So I was. He told me just watch a lot of TV with English subtitle.
Yeah.
Just and make sure not to hang out with French people when you're here,
Yeah.
because if not, you're never gonna learn
It's
English.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not
Get
wrong.
out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So where do you go from there? How do you start DJing right away? Do you do
So,
something
yeah,
else? What's the move at
My
that
life
point?
is just crazy, man. There's so many things that happen. It's like, so basically, there was this very famous club called the Living Room at the time. It was the hottest club in Miami.
The Living
Miami
Room?
Beach. Yeah, the
I like
Living
that
Room.
name.
Cool.
Talk about Madonna going there, like all
Oh,
the hottest models,
Okay.
Gianni Versace, like
Yes.
the hottest. You couldn't get in.
Yes.
From Monday to Sunday, the hottest club, run by French people. So,
Here we
No, but
go.
wait.
Here we go.
so the friend of mine, there was this very rich guy. His name was Daniel Hirsch, if I remember correctly. Threw a party on his house, and he goes, "I need a DJ." My friend goes, "Oh, I got a guy from France. You should do it. You should get this guy." So he hires me to be the DJ. That night, it was the hottest party in town. Everybody went to his party. So, and the Living Room, the club knew that they were going to his party. So they're like, okay, they're going to go and then they're all going to come to the club. I DJed that night and kept everybody at the house. The club was
Amazing.
empty the whole night.
Oh fuck.
So the owner started freaking out and tell the promoters, what's going on? Where's people are? He goes, well, this party, this DJ kept everybody there. He's amazing. And the guy goes, go get the guy we're hiring now.
Just
so I
like
got a
that.
residency at the club. I didn't
Yeah.
speak a word of English. Just got here.
God.
They made my visa. They made everything. Yeah.
Sponsored you. Oh,
yeah,
that's
because I was a
amazing.
tourist at the time.
Yeah. True.
Right? So they
Amazing.
applied for my visa. They did everything. And I became the resident of the Living Room from Monday to Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long do you think that lasted? Let's say you were 18 when you got here.
Yeah.
How long do you think you were doing that club
I did it for 3 years.
straight?
3 years
And
straight.
at that point, you weren't doing like festivals or anything like
No,
that.
no,
Okay.
no. I was just a resident. Well, at that time, I was just saving money to buy equipment to make music.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you. How was the money situation for you being here? Not really, just getting a new job. Obviously, I don't know if it was expensive at that point, but
It was not expensive, but it was hard. I was living in a very small apartment in Miami Beach, and it was tough. It was like, you know what I mean? I was buying food, I can. Like,
Yeah.
They were not paying me a lot of money, but I was trying to save, to buy, to invest and get equipment, learn how to make music.
yeah.
and-
But that experience of working now at this club so quickly after you came, what was that like? Because like you said, every famous person was going there.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was every famous person. The funny thing is, people will ask me for requests,
Okay.
right? They will come up to me. and they will ask me for requests, and I will look at them. I'll be yes,
Yeah, for sure.
and I would never play the song because I don't understand what they're saying. So and then they will get mad and will come and say, like this. I'll be like.
I don't even know what you're saying.
I had no idea what they were saying to me.
Yeah.
And it was run by French people. So the manager was French, the owners were French. So
They're speaking French.
I was speaking French to
So
everybody.
you
I
were
was
doing
not-
what your
Yeah,
friend
I-
said not to do. Don't
not
hang
to
around.
do, and I'm hanging out with French people, and it was hard, and I couldn't
Yeah.
understand anything.
So at that point, do you see anything past this venue, or are you saying I'm just going to focus on this residency that I
At
have?
the time, yeah, I just kept working because I see the money was coming in, right? I had my apartment for the first time. You know, when you get your first apartment,
Yeah.
You feel like you feel good. And then I right away, I don't know, it's not somebody that told me you have to do that, but I was like, I got to save money and buy equipment. I got to make music. I got to
Yes.
produce music. I have to do this.
Yeah, that was my question. I was gonna say, did someone lead you in that direction? Was that something you always thought about doing? Did that only come after Miami? Like, was that always the
It was always the thought, but it
Okay.
was difficult because at the time we didn't have what we have now.
Yeah.
Like now we're making music.
FL
You see, I'm
Studio,
making music on the
Logic?
laptop.
Yes, yeah.
Right before you had to buy all this gear, outside gears, and I was making music on Atari computers.
Crazy.
It was very tough to make music, so you had to buy so much equipment to do this thing. And now like kids are making music on their laptop.
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it was the first thing, but it was like nobody told me you have to buy this. Like, it was just it came up to me. It was like logical to
Yeah, it
go.
was like natural for you to-
natural to do this, right?
Yes, that was the next
And
step.
at that point too, were you trying to market yourself at all? Were you trying to get to know people or get to know club owners or
I
get
was,
to know
I was
promoters?
to be honest, I already had a website at the time.
Oh shit!
Come on.
I started making a website. I was
No
like thinking
way.
already
Ahead.
and I was just a resident DJ, but I was thinking like a big artist. I said,
Yes.
I need my website. I need to make videos. I need to do this. I was like, and I was marketing myself. I was like really like, talking to people.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
You're very forward thinking at that
yeah,
time.
I was forward thinking with
And
that.
at a very young age.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially back then, there's no blueprint. Like you said, now we
Mm-hmm.
go on YouTube and how to market yourself as a DJ. 2023.
How to
like-
DJ.
Yeah, how to DJ, how to do
Yeah.
everything. What do you attest that to? Why do you think that you kind of knew all of these sort of steps, or that it came naturally to you?
Because I was looking at other artists, what they were doing.
Okay.
And even though they were very successful. So what I understood that if you want to connect to people, you have to make music, right? Because I was connecting to those artists because of their song they were making.
True.
So I was like, I'm going to connect to a local crowd by being a great DJs in Miami. But if I want to be outside of Miami, I got to start making music.
Okay.
Because this is how I'm going to connect to people. That's what I figured out.
Yes.
Even though I had no idea what I was doing, I was making beats, whatever. I was like, one day I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to connect and travel outside of Miami.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And doing the website and everything is because I was looking at other artists. They had website. Probably nobody was watching my website.
Yeah.
But I felt good about myself. I was like, you know what? I got my website. I got my dates where I'm playing
Yeah.
in Miami, and
Yeah.
I got it.
It shows you're serious.
There's my bio. There's, what I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Interesting.
And I want to even compare, like you mentioned it, how much harder it was back then to make music than it is now. Do you think, on a side note, do you think that a lot of the passion has been removed from that side because it's so easy nowadays for someone to create just on their laptop? Or
No.
No?
No, I don't think. I don't think the passion. I think kids have the passion to make music. I just think there was less distraction at the time.
Okay.
You know.
True.
Like
That's a good point.
when I was in the studio, we're in the studio and just making music. When I'm in the studio now, even me, I get distracted. I get on TikTok.
Yeah.
yeah.
I get
On the phone,
watch
yeah.
this on YouTube or this and that. You get distracted in session all the time.
Yeah.
So what I do now in session in the studio, I make sure that everybody keeps their phone out of the studio.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just for an hour or two. We're just
Yeah.
in the studio. Let's
Stay
let's
focused.
talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
let's vibe. Because if not, like somebody, and I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Like they start writing some music when we do writing sessions in LA. You have the writer that writes the lyrics. You have the singer. You have a guy that I'm playing guitar with, whatever. We're all in the studio, and all of a sudden I'm on my TikTok going like this, and I'm not paying attention to the session
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
It's
You
so
know what I
easy
mean?
to get distracted. Yeah.
Which is bad.
Yeah. So all those aspects of making music, you just named them pretty much. You have the writer, you have all that. So when you started making your own music, were you on your own or did you have these tools around you or these people around you that can make it with you?
No, I was on my own.
Wow.
I was learning. I was on my own. I was learning machine by machine. I was reading in magazines and stuff. and to be in rooms with people also, like I got in studio sessions with other people and I would watch what they do. And in writing session. I would watch how they write and how they, operate, how they record the vocals. And one time I remember I went to a session and this guy was recording the chorus and I thought it's like one take.
Yeah.
But then you had the ad libs and the, the high,
Yes.
the low,
Yeah.
the whispery ad libs and all this thing. And we're spending hours and recording the same thing over and over. And my first time I was like, what is this guy doing, man?
Yeah.
And then he stacked them together and it's like this big vocal, you know what I mean?
And you're
Yeah.
like blown away.
But I would have never knew if I was not in the room with the guy watching what he does, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Did it take you time to get that right? Like the making music part? How long do you think it took you to kind of learn the ins and outs?
It took me a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. And
Yeah.
I long time to get it. The first record that I made that was right was called Burning. I made
Yes.
this record and I knew the A&R of Ultra Records, which is the biggest dance record in America. David Waxman was playing at Crowbar at the time.
Okay.
And I knew he was playing. I was the resident of Crowbar, Miami at the time, and I knew he was playing. So I made this record called Burning, and I burned the CD, and I said, you know what? I don't know this guy, but I'm going to go hand him the CD. So I went there, I introduced myself, I gave him the CD. I had no idea who I was. The next day, he gets in touch with me. He goes, man, this song is amazing. I'm signing it, and I'm signing you for a 3-album deal with Ultra.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Just from you giving someone
Just give him a CD like this.
Yeah.
I handed him the CD. I had no idea. This is my first song I ever produced ever.
Come on.
It was mixed badly. It was this or that, but it was a great song. So I gave it to him, and he saw the talent, and he signed me in a 3-album deal. And later, I did 3 albums with Ultra.
So
my first deal.
that was the start, let's say.
That was my start. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my start. That's where after that, I became the resident of Space Miami, the famous terrace
Yes.
of Space Miami. I
Yes.
started that with Oscar G, Ivano Bellini, all my old friends resident. And that's when my career really blew up, is when I was the resident at Space Miami.
And how did it feel being signed to a label like that? What did you learn from
It
that?
felt great because you were inspired. Now you know that your music was going to get out there
Yes.
Yeah.
and heard.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people, but for sure you're going to be on. I remember I was in a record store. I would go in a record store and those people, Ultra, will rent the front store. I forgot the name of the record store in Miami Beach, famous one. And they would put, when my album came out, they put my album cover in the
front.
And I was going there every single
the
day.
glass, you can see
I was
it.
just watching the album cover in front of the window.
Of course, why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. So at the time, you had to buy the CDs. There was
Yeah.
no
Yes.
iTunes. There was none of that.
Yes,
Spotify.
yes,
And
nothing.
at what point of that career, like how old are you at that point when you got your first deal?
I don't remember. I think 23,
Wow.
25 or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't remember. It
Wow.
took me a long time before like getting
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And you said 3 albums.
And then after
3-album
that, I've
deal.
done 3 albums with them.
They
yeah.
renewed it. They're saying
They wanted to
okay.
renew the deal after, but at that time I had management. Now things are getting serious.
Okay.
Because I was on my own doing everything.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. When do you start building this team
Even that
around
first
you?
deal, though, you're on your own?
I was on my own. No team, nobody.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
doing everything. I was the resident. What I was good at is marketing myself and became Mr. Miami as
Yes.
DJs.
Yes.
Like
I
people
love
would
that.
know, oh, Cedric, that's the Miami guy.
Cool.
Right? People would come to Miami. I want to hear Cedric at the Terrace of Space, but I would travel nowhere in the world.
Oh, you didn't leave
So
Miami.
you still stayed here. Okay.
I was there, and I, at one point, I was doing. My career was up, and then when I started being the resident at Space, it was a very tough thing for me because he didn't want me to play anywhere else in Miami, and he would pay me $500 on Saturday to play from 5 a.m. to 7 at night on the terrace. But I knew I had to do this because it was the hottest place in Miami.
True.
But I couldn't barely pay my rent. I was like, I came for making money. I was fine. Now I'm moving to this guy.
Yeah.
But that's where all the big DJs at the time
You knew you were
playing.
getting the exposure there.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, I have to,
Yeah.
do this because I know somebody's going to see me play and take me on.
Yeah.
So I went over there. I struggled for the first year. I couldn't even pay my rent. It was crazy. He would not allow me, and everybody was offering me jobs everywhere in Miami. Like, come play here for 1,000, come play here for 2,000. This, and I couldn't take it. I was getting paid $500 to play over there.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat nothing. It was crazy. But then one day, Deep Dish, which is a massive group. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know who they are.
Yeah.
Sharam and Ali, which is Dub Fire now, came to play, and Sharam was like, "Whoa, this kid is talented. Let's sign him on the agency." So I get signed, my first signing, to the agency, Bullet Booking, Yoshitoshi record with Sharam. All of a sudden, I'm on tour with Deep Dish, worldwide, opening for them in front of 10,000, 20,000 people, flying private with them everywhere. I'm like, I came from the terrace. So I spent 2 years on the terrace,
Yes.
struggling, and then
Yes.
I knew that one day, one of the guys would be like,
Something's gonna come.
because that was good. All the residents at Space were amazing. The crowd would come for us and listen to us play. But I knew one day something was going to come out of this. And people were telling me, "You crazy? You got to stop.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting paid, whatever." And that day I got signed, and I ended up on tour with.
And
those
you
guys.
knew, you're like, yeah, this is all the fucking hours I put in
Yes.
is because of this. But yeah, now that's really a question I wanted to understand because the Space, the hours are crazy.
Yeah.
It's like how do you DJ those types of hours? Like your daily schedule must have been ridiculous. Like
It
you're
was crazy.
sleeping
I
at
was
weird
waking up-
hours and
I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
and I would show up at Space with a coffee, and everybody would be there fucked up and
Yeah.
ready to go until 7 p.m. But Space at the time was not Space now. It was insane, man.
Yes.
I remember I would have Missy Elliott to the right, Puff Daddy, Timbaland, and all the hottest model in Miami, the nicest crowd of Miami there, fucked up,
Yeah.
just staying there until 7 p.m. Like it was the craziest time of Miami.
was it a lot more loose in terms of like the restrictions for clubs and whatever back then?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, Space was the first one that started 24-hour.
I never
license.
seen anyone do that before. Yeah,
were the
Space
first, right?
is-
Louis Puig was a visionary.
Yes.
I was the resident at Crowbar, and I heard that Louis was going to open a club in downtown Miami where people literally were getting shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a 24-hour club. I was like, this guy's nuts. Nobody's going to go there. And he opened this, and it was the biggest success ever.
Yeah.
He had a vision.
Yeah.
He went for it, and it blew up.
Yeah, and still
Yeah.
today it's still going.
So you go on tour. That's your first tour now, right?
That's my first tour.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you go? What?
we're in Romania.
shit.
Then we were in Serbia. Then we were Spain, everywhere.
Yes.
And Sharam, which is now my good friend, we're good friend. At one point, he goes, "Listen, this is too easy for him. He's on private jet with us. He's staying in a 5-star hotel." So he called Arash, the owner of the agency. He goes, "Dude, this kid needs to learn
Yeah.
what it takes to make it. I want him to fly coach now, and I want him to stay in Motel 6."
Damn.
Come on.
So
Come
I went
on.
from flying private with them, beautiful hotels, to flying coach and Motel 6.
What-
right?
was he trying to
Because he
teach-
wanted me to
yeah.
learn, and I
Yeah.
appreciate what he did because I learned.
Yes.
I was
Okay.
gonna
Right?
say.
I grind.
But how did you take that in the moment though?
Oh no, I was going crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, this is bullshit. You can't do this to me.
Yeah.
What is this? I don't want to. And they were laughing at me. I remember sometime we'll fly. So they would not fly private all the time. They would fly in business class and first class, and I would be coached like this.
Yeah.
And they would make sure to get a middle seat for me. So I'm sitting in the middle
Yeah.
seat. And then they would be eating, turning around, looking at me, eating food. And me, I had no food on the back like this for 2 hours. On the
Yeah.
back going.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really gave
Well, I
it
was
to me.
gonna say if you went on tour that quickly and you blew up that fast, I was gonna say, how did you not let it get to your head? But then you just answered
Correct.
it.
And then
Yeah.
and then that's what they did to me for that. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, listen, I was on tour. Nobody knew who I was. I was just
Yeah.
a protege from those guys.
Of course, but
And I
seeing
was-
the crowds and seeing the different
yeah, I was
countries.
like exposed, and I would play in the crowd. Be wow, this kid is
Yeah.
great. But at the time, there was no Instagram to go back to and be like, oh,
Look where
I
I
love
am,
your
yeah.
set or this. So I had no idea. I was just playing for those crowd, leaving the
True.
city, and that's it.
And what's the sort of so from that moment, when do you kind of say like when does it become like you're not the protege anymore, but now you're the guy at the front?
So Sharam said to me, he goes, listen, we're opening the doors for you, right?
Okay.
You in front of all these crowds. You're in front of, I remember I played the Oxygen Festival, which is the biggest festival in Dublin, right before them. I'm talking about like major artists, U2, this and that, and then all of a
wow.
sudden Cedric Gervais and Deep Dish opening for them. I had to, it was in their contract.
Yeah.
He goes, we can't expose you so much, but if you don't do it yourself by making music and connecting to people, then your career is going to go nowhere. So
Yeah.
he goes, you got to get in the studio, make songs that people connect to, and then you're going to go on your own.
And how were you marketing it at that point? Because, as you said, no social media, no iTunes. none
We
of
just
this.
had, just the website, and now I had an agency, so my agents were pushing me, to do show. I would do show on my own, but obviously not a lot of people will come see me because they have
Yeah.
no music out there, nothing.
True.
So I start making music, and then I start producing records
Okay.
that other DJs start playing,
Cool.
Okay.
right in the scene. Also now they're like, oh shit, we love Cedric's record, like this and that, and Sharam will help me pass it out to other DJs, and then
Yes.
everybody start talking about me, and then I do another one that works and everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I went on my own after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start getting your own shows. Now you have your own
My own
music. People are
shows,
coming to
on
hear
music
you
that people
play.
playing. I will go
Yes.
see. I remember at at the time, Nick Fanciulli, Loco Dice, all
Nick
those guys,
Fanciulli,
Timo Mas, I was friends with all those guys, and they would play my music, and that's how you create the buzz.
Yeah.
And was that something that I guess at that point of time was very popular? I guess connecting with other DJs, saying, "Hey, you guys play my stuff, I'll play yours," kind of
Of course,
stuff like that.
Yeah, it was
That's
very
cool.
important that you'll go see the DJs, hand them the music, talk about it,
Yeah.
and then wait for them to play in the set, and then you'll be like,
And I want to go back to the tour quickly. Coming back from that tour now back to Miami, was there anything that you learned from that trip that now you're coming to Miami with maybe a fresh look on things?
Well, I traveled the world. Which before I never,
Yeah.
it opens your mind. It's like so much. Like I
Yeah.
was always in Miami, and all of a sudden I see all these different countries.
True. Yes.
Mexico,
Different
Serbia,
cultures.
this. I'm everywhere. Dublin, like I never seen different culture, different this,
Yeah.
different crowd reaction. You know what I mean? Different. So and then you learn the business. You talk to the promoters. You see how it works. The tour manager going to the show. I had no idea. Just going to space, and I'm 5 in the morning I'm
With your
showing up
coffee, yeah.
with my case of vinyls, and I'm just right there, putting the. At the time. So
it's true.
it was different. I'm learning the business. I'm like, wow, one day I'll be the one that have a tour manager
Yes.
traveling with me and plugging my USBs, and you know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
what's your family now saying at this point? Because you've done a tour, and now they're like, oh fuck, okay, like, this is really going.
They must miss
somewhere.
you too because you're in Miami.
Yeah, of course. No, but I take what I did is I always brought my grandmother raised me
Okay.
with my grandfather, so I was always bringing them 3 months at a time to stay with me.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
Beautiful.
Oh, and in
Even
Miami?
though I had, in Miami, even though I had a small apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, I would sleep on the couch, give them the bedroom, and just have them with me, just to have them with me because they raised me. They gave me
Yes.
everything. My mother left me when I was young for another guy.
Okay.
And then my father was kind of taking care of me. My father was kind of crazy. So my grandmother and my grandfather raised me. So I would make sure to bring them all the time with me to have the family,
Yeah, because you still want that family aspect, that family feeling, like around you,
Yeah.
right? You need it sometimes.
You need that.
Yeah.
You need
Do you
I
think
agree
that
with
was like? Do you think? I mean, your mom leaving you at a young age. Do you think that was like a chip on the shoulder that you had?
Yeah, I think it helped me actually.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was like, you know what?
it usually does. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it on my own. I just like left. I was like, okay, I don't have any.
Yeah.
It's good.
I gotta do my
Yeah.
own thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I did my own thing.
So when does the first festival happen for you?
The first festival. Which one was the first? I actually don't remember.
Yeah. I guess maybe one of the bigger ones. I guess.
One of the. Oh no, I know. It's the beer festival in Germany.
Oh, that's
It was
huge.
like
Beer Fest. Yeah.
200,000 people.
So that was the biggest show you did at that point in your life.
At that point in my life, yeah. When I was signed to this agency, they put
Yeah.
me there like at the beer festival, and it's called the beer festival.
Yeah, Beer Fest. Yeah. Yeah.
Beer fest, and then 200,000.
They're
people.
they're fucking drunk as fuck there.
Yeah, they're all drunk. I came on stage and there's like this sea of people, and I was like, and they had no idea what I was. I was just DJing. I was like, yeah, I made it, man.
And were you ever nervous to do shows?
Huh?
Were you ever nervous to go up there and do a
All
set?
the time. All the
yeah,
time.
and
I'm
how
still nervous now.
do you
Really?
what's like your preset like routine? You have anything or
When I get very nervous, I just do a shot of tequila.
that'll do it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that'll do it. Or I drink some Happy Dad right
There
before.
you go.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, Miami, I get very nervous. I don't know why. It's my
Really?
city. I always get nervous.
Yeah.
Even for like a residency, like
Yeah, anywhere that I play in Miami could be.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like
I think
weird.
it's like exciting nerves, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah,
it's
it
good
is.
nerves.
It is.
And I know you also. We're gonna talk about summertime sadness as well because that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to know how that process went. And how that works with a remix because a lot of the people listening they might not know how it works. Lana Del Rey, obviously. So how did that process go working together and remixing that song?
Well, let me get you to the moment that they offer me.
Yeah,
to
yeah, of
release
course,
that
of
song.
course.
So I did this song called Molly.
Molly
Yeah,
was huge.
right?
We were
Of course.
bumping that on the way here, going nuts.
So I did this song called Molly, and at the time I just signed with my management, and my management is shopping around the record everywhere.
Okay.
And nobody wants to sign the record. Nobody. And I'm like, man, this is the first record I've done. You know, I just wrote it because I was in Vegas actually for Dave Grutman bachelor party.
nice.
Shout out Dave.
And a friend of mine, Ronnie Cycli, a friend of ours, ex-basketball player from Miami Heat, now
Yeah.
DJ, great DJ, comes up in the room. We're all after hours in the room. It's Dave's, after party, whatever. And this guy's like, looking at me, he's like, who the fuck is this Molly girl that everybody's looking for? But he's like serious. He's like, everybody's like, where's this Molly? But why do they pick the name Molly? Who is
Yeah,
Molly?
yeah.
What is? And I'm listening to him at 5 a.m. I'm like, where's Molly? What like this and that? I swear to God, I went back to Miami, wrote those lyrics,
Yeah.
made the track, and gave it to my manager. I said, this is going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because they said, my
Unreal.
manager didn't understand the record. He goes like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I did this computer vocal. So we start shopping the record. Nothing is happening. At the time, I get a call from Chris Pacello. He's like, I'm on the plane, about to take off to LA. He goes, Sad, I need you in New York tomorrow. Madonna wants to see you. I said,
What?
Chris, I ain't got time for this. I hang up the phone. I
You thought he
don't
was
have
bullshitting?
Yeah, I was like, I don't have time for this. I hang up the phone. 5-hour flight to LA. I have like text.
Of
from
course.
Chris, are you fucking crazy? Call me back right now. So I called him. It was real. Madonna wanted to meet me to
Come
work with her
on.
on the next album.
Holy shit.
So I take a plane from LA, go straight to New York.
Jesus
I
Christ.
sit down with Madonna, the MDMA album we worked on, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting, I'm playing her. She knows about Molly. She hears the song, whatever. She comes down to Miami Music Week. She goes on stage with Avicii. The first thing she says, hey guys, have you seen Molly?
Oh my
And
God.
the crowd goes nuts, right?
Yeah.
The next day, Deadmau5 goes bananas on her. Start tweeting, how dare you promote drugs in our culture? You come to our culture, you don't know anything about it, and all of a sudden you
No.
promote drugs, right? She never had a Twitter account. She opens a Twitter account. She gets 7 million followers in 10 minutes. Her first tweet ever is a picture of her with Mickey Mouse here, and there's a bubble coming out. And she says, I never promoted drugs in my life, and I would never do. I was just promoting my good friend Cedric Gervais' new song, Where's Molly? Which we worked together on my next album. That's the first tweet she ever posted. The next day, I was on TMZ. I was on every magazine in the world.
Yeah.
Now, every label that say no to the song are calling my manager.
Yeah,
Of course.
Right? Like, we want to sign this record with it. So we sold the record for hundreds of thousands of dollars to people. We're
Amazing.
like, now you want the record? This is how it's happened. So this record blew up. I went in the UK top 10, like everywhere.
Yes,
It blew up.
everywhere. It was everywhere.
That's how Lana Del Rey came in.
Okay.
The manager of Lana Del Rey came in they were friends with my manager and said, why don't Cedric remix this song? And they brought me the vocal of Summertime Sadness, and I did it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And that went on to be,
Yeah.
fuck, man. Like, I think that song is still playing every year at every fucking
It's crazy.
festival.
So I did that song at the beginning. I wanted my DJ friend to play.
Yeah.
And they were playing it. I was like, oh, I'm happy. This is great. Then it went #1 on Beatport.
Yep.
So that means everybody's buying it. I'm
Buying
like,
it,
wow,
yeah.
this is great. Then it stopped playing on dance radio. I was like, oh my God, that is great. Then it went top 40 radio.
Yeah.
That's when you know.
And I was like,
Yeah.
it's great. And I have another story about why it went top 40. So the song is doing great, right? We go to Interscope at the time and we tell them, listen, you have to push the song. This is a hit.
Yeah.
You have to release it. We released it on the underground side with Spinning Record. We went to Interscope and we said, listen, this is a massive record. It's going to cross over. You have to release it. They're like, no, Lana Del Rey already put this song out. We're done. We're not going to push it. At the time, John Amen is the A&R of Lana Del Rey. I'm playing EDC Vegas, main stage.
Yeah.
I fly him to Vegas. I say, come with me. I put him on stage. When the chorus comes down, there's 95,000 people. I turn the volume down on the chorus, 95,000 people singing the chorus.
That's beautiful.
He
Amazing.
looked at me like this, like, what the fuck is going on? He went back, called my manager the next day. He goes, next week, that song's going to be top 40 radio. And then it went top 40 radio. We sold 8.5 million single. But if I haven't done that,
Yeah. It wouldn't
that
have
song
happened.
would have never come out.
It's all these little moments that
Yeah,
add
I know,
up.
it's crazy. I have all these little things.
So then you win the Grammy for it?
Then we win the Grammy.
Yes.
So it went from #1, we went #6 on Billboard chart here in America, #3 in the UK, #1 in many countries. We
Yeah.
sold 8.5 single at the time because there was no streaming. Now we're
Yes.
like, I don't know, 300 million streams.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then we won the Grammy for Best Remix.
And how does that change your career at this point, like as a whole?
When you win a Grammy, well, now you're in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now people want to be in the
You
room.
got the
with you.
eyes on
Yes.
you now. Yeah.
Yeah, now
Yes.
people want to work with you. Now, now I start working with Miley Cyrus. I start, Usher wants me to remix a song, like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just like that, eh?
Yeah, just like that.
How was it winning the Grammy?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's a real moment. But because you don't know. It's not like some award show, you won something.
Yeah.
And you know before you get there. The Grammys, you don't know.
You
You're
don't
just sitting
you don't
there.
know.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Like you're sitting there and you're waiting for the guy to say your name, and if he says
And
your
there were
name,
some great nominees as well
there was like
alongside you.
Bruno Mars. What is the song with Alesso? Myself Tonight. What is with One Republic?
Yep.
There was a Bob Marley song.
Yep.
There was there's a lot of things.
That's crazy. Up against like talent like that.
Yeah.
Like going into it, did you have a feeling like, hey, maybe I might win, or were you just like, I'm happy to be here? Like,
You
whatever.
get a speech ready to go?
No,
No speech.
no, I had no speech. I swear to God, I had zero speech. I just went up there, and as I'm going up there, I say, "What the hell am I going to say to these people?" And I closed the speech by saying, "I'm just a kid from because I remember I saw LeBron winning the championship in Miami.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he just said, "I'm just a kid from Akron, or
Yes. Yeah,
I'm not
Akron.
even supposed to be here."
Legendary,
But
yeah.
that stood in my head. I was like, "Whoa." So at the end of the speech, I'm saying all this. I'm thanking everybody. I say, "Hey, by the way, I'm just a kid from Marseille with a dream. I'm not even supposed to be here."
Boom.
Boom,
Just
and I
like
walked
that.
out, and everybody were like going
Of
crazy.
course.
But I quoted LeBron because I remember I was on the court looking at the speech. I was like, "This is
Miami
crazy."
legend,
Miami
100%.
legend.
So after that, are you looking at your career now and saying, okay, like I can do more, I can do different things. I'm gonna start working with bigger artists. Are you also reaching out to bigger artists, or are they coming to you?
No, they're coming to me at that
Yeah.
time.
And are you at that point? I guess.
Well, at
changing-
that point, like you're selling out shows everywhere
Yeah,
because
yeah.
now you cross to the masses. When you have a song on Top 40 radio in America,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I had one in my life. You know, my best friend David Guetta has probably 20 of them. Calvin Harris has 12. So this is why they are massive. When you cross to the mainstream,
Yeah.
now the mother of the kid that's coming to see you at the show knows who you are.
Yep.
True.
And love you for the song. I would get things. My mother wants to come to your show in Chicago. This is crazy. Because they hear the song on the regular radio every day. So they're,
Yeah.
I want to see this guy, Cedric Gervais. They have no idea what I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just know me by that song. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So it's like, it's a different world.
Yeah.
You're like selling out venues. And by the way, Lana Del Rey was not selling out her shows in America. After that song, she was selling out every venue that she was
Wow.
doing in the United States. She never had a radio hit in her life. That was the only radio hit.
I was gonna say, yeah, she wasn't even really, and still
No,
to this
she
day
hates
isn't
it,
a
by the way.
isn't a radio
No,
artist.
She hates it.
Why?
Oh, okay. Well, that was my next
'Cause she
question.
feels like
Because
it wasn't
she's
all her?
underground. She doesn't know this world, and she never wanted that level of success to be on the radio. That's not what she's about.
I was gonna say, what were the kind of did you have conversations with her? Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, when I won the Grammy, she sent me a picture with a hands up, and
Yeah.
But I know she doesn't want like what I know that when I did Young and Beautiful, which
Big
the
tune.
only country that was allowed to release that song was Australia and New Zealand. I went 4-time platinum. I was getting more plays on daytime radio than Katy Perry at the time with that song. It was in line to be even bigger than Summertime Sadness. Lana blocked everything and turned down the record and said, "Do not release that record anywhere." She didn't want the success.
Come on.
Yeah, it was
That's a
about to
tune.
be.
That's a
I was
tune.
about to be number 2 Grammy. It was about to be number 2 big radio record, and she shut it down.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you too. Whenever a big moment happens for an artist, I like to ask artists this: like, did you feel the pressure of having to one up your last remix?
Of
now,
course, you always have to do
How
that.
did you manage that?
It's horrible, man. It's the worst thing because you always want to do the same success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got stuck. And also, when you sign with major label, they want you to have like commercial success. So
Yes.
I've done Summertime Sadness without thinking about radio, without thinking. I was
Yeah.
thinking about my friend to play.
There was no pressure.
There was no pressure.
Yes.
And now you have pressure to make a radio hit, to make this, that, and you start making music that you don't like.
That's what I was gonna ask
That's
you.
the
Like, do
problem.
you
It's
feel
like-
pressure like that? Like, were they like saying like, well, you lose control when you kind of sign, right? Like, they're
Yes.
kind of pushing you to do a certain thing. And then
Yes.
did you
And-
feel like you were losing like the
Completely.
passion?
I lost everything. Like
Wow.
for like 2 years, I was like lost. I was telling my manager, I said, "What am I doing? Like this is not what I was making. Like music, like what the Chainsmokers are making today. But this
Yeah.
is not me. I was
Yes.
trying to like follow the trend, and it
Yeah.
was horrible. And then when I stopped, when I say, you know what, I'm just gonna make whatever I want, and then I started.
It
Connect
comes back again.
You know?
But you said Young and Beautiful, she blocked it. What was your reaction when you got that news? Like, and how did
Well,
you?
I knew because when we had Summertime Sadness, the American Music Award wanted us to open the show.
Yeah.
And they had this whole thing on the top of the biggest building in Los Angeles. It was going to have this orchestra. Me, obviously, I'm playing guitar and everything, play with her, and her perform. She turned it down. Me performing at Coachella in the Sarah stage at the best hour, 8 p.m., sunset. I had thousands of people in front of me. We asked her to come. She didn't want to do it. Like every time we wanted to, she always shut it down. So I was like, listen, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, sure. But you just did the track. You said, hey, fuck it. If she's into it, fine. And if not,
Yeah, whatever. I mean, everybody loved it. Everybody streamed it because
for sure.
it was out.
Yes.
But she shut it down on the radio level. She didn't want that thing to go to radio at all.
Which that would have been the next.
Yeah, the next one.
So you said for 2 years you were kind of like doing things you didn't want, not feeling it anymore. How did you get out of that funk? And at what point was that, like, in your career?
Yeah, 2 years later, I did a song, "Do It Tonight."
Yes.
Yeah, that did extremely well. It's just like I went back to my roots, like French disco house, where you sample songs.
Yeah.
And then that song did great. We got on a lot of movies. We were actually the song of the NFL Monday Night Football.
Sick.
Every time they would touchdown, they would play the song.
Come on.
Yeah,
That's
it was
huge.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, all the DJs were playing it. In the UK, I was like record of the week on Radio 1, everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a song I wanted to do for me, for DJs, friend. Again, I went to do it with no pressure and everything,
Yeah.
and then start connecting. After that one, I said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I want.
I also saw that you ended up starting your own record label.
Yeah.
Is that
they
true?
like that record, yeah.
Cool. So why did you decide to do that? And
I just meet so many artists
Okay.
in the world, like young kids that I want to sign and
sick.
do it. And I've been putting records out on it so people know the record label. And now I'm going to start pushing a lot of artists, young artists that I'm meeting.
That's kind of the next step, I guess. Sort of like, would you be interested in mentoring?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
artists?
I'm doing it right now with a
Yeah?
bunch of kids. Yeah, that
Cool.
I met a kid from Colombia called Rafi Saint, Alexander Oru, another guy from Miami. Like I'm taking them under my umbrella. I'm like teaching them, like structure the song better. I'm giving
Yes.
them tools how to mix the songs with people in the UK and stuff like mastering and all these things. So when the music is right, then I sign them and then I can,
I'm curious. I want to know your thoughts on ghost producing, because we've had artists in front of us more in the hip hop genre, and we've always asked them about like ghostwriting, and so to the public, there's always a negative connotation
But
about
what is
it.
ghostwriting?
Well, okay, so this is what I want to ask you. So essentially, it's and that's kind of the thing. So to the public, it's like, someone else wrote this portion of the song, wrote that, and whatever. Now, when I look at it, the way I think I see it is, there's people collaborating in a room together, right? And they're involved in a track.
What's a producer to you?
What's a producer to me? So the thing is, I'm not in the music industry. I may
I'm
not
gonna tell you
get
what a
this
producer
right.
is.
I may not get this right,
A
but
producer is a guy that knows how to put people in a room, the best in the room,
yes,
to do their job for the record, right?
I like that. Yeah,
Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
What was he doing? When you wanted a sax player, we'll get the best sax player and put him in the room.
yes,
When you wanted a guitar player, we'll get the best guitar player and put him in the room.
yeah.
The guy knows how to play instrument, everything, but Quincy was on the back and just orchestrating the whole thing.
Like do this,
you
do
play
this.
you do this, you do that. The engineer, you mix it this way, this and that. That's a producer.
Yes,
So when people say ghost producer, I want to know there is ghost producer. There's guys producer that make music, sell to other people.
yeah,
They have no idea how to make music and they put their name on it.
sure.
Yeah, that's a ghost producer. I
Yeah.
understand. But there's some people that I do that myself. I work with other producers, a lot of producers in the UK and everything. We bounce idea together.
Yeah.
We do things, change this, then I take it back. I do this, send it back, do this. So you work with other producers. And those producers are not going to be the artists of the song,
Yeah.
but they worked on the song.
Yeah.
I worked with somebody with Summertime Sadness,
Sure.
Carlos Sid,
Yeah.
amazing producer. Today he's an artist and he's touring all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So, but what I guess then my question leads in, because I agree with you. I think that it's collaboration, and I think that like you're only you're smart if you are getting the best saxophone player. Like,
Of course.
that's the best way to do it, to
Yeah.
produce the best track. So I'm in agreement with you. What I want to know maybe is, why do you think
There's a few artists.
yeah,
Calvin Harris
Yeah.
produces everything,
yes,
writes everything. But there's a few like that.
yes,
You know
They're
what I mean? Like,
unicorns, sort of.
Calvin is a genius.
Yeah.
And he won't let people, you know,
Touch his art,
He
yeah.
plays the guitar, plays the bass,
Yeah.
mixes the song, produces everything, like, because he's a genius. That's how he
Yes,
is.
yes.
But not everybody's like that. I play piano. I'm not the best piano player. I'm not the
sure.
best guitar player. You know what I mean?
But so why do you think though, from the public, let's say, it's like there's a negative like look on that?
I think it's haters.
Yeah, it's
true.
fair.
They just
Yeah,
wanna,
it's
you know
true.
what I mean? They
Yeah.
just want to hate.
Yeah, just find a reason to kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, like I said, even we ask hip hop artists, and they kind of give the same answer. Like, if you're in the room collaborating with people, like that's just it's a collaborative project essentially.
Yeah.
Right. But everyone kind of wants to find a downfall. Like you see it with Drake. He had a whole big thing with, oh, he has a ghostwriter, he has this, he has that. But at the end of the day, he's just being the smartest guy in
You
music.
still like the music though. You still
Let
like
me ask
it,
you a
know?
question,
right?
like DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
Sure. I was gonna
Yeah,
bring him
yeah,
up.
exactly.
I was
Okay,
gonna
so
ask
DJ
you.
Khaled, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You think he sits there and makes all the beats?
No, I was
But
gonna-
let me ask you something. Do you think the guy that makes the beats and gave it to him can put Drake on the song?
No.
No.
There
He's
you go.
DJ
That's
Khaled.
DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
That's his talent.
Yeah.
And by the way, DJ Khaled's going to tell this kid, that's not the way to do it. Do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take the beat and then he's going to fix it and he's going to get Drake in the room.
Yes.
That's a talent, dude.
It's
Yeah.
like who can get the guys in the room.
Correct.
Yeah, it's true. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's just so weird, right? Because you always see it, but I guess people just want to find a reason to kind of hate on your success to some level.
That's always.
Did you find that a lot? Like, did you find you had a lot of people like when you let's say from Summertime Sadness going forward? Was there a lot of people who kind of tried to throw dirt on your name or anything like that?
Well, you're bigger now. Yeah, you were bigger.
Yeah. I had many hates. I mean, when I did that song, Do It Tonight, there was a group from New York called Solid Disco. And they used the same sample.
Yeah.
And this is a crazy story, right? When you do a song like this,
Yes.
you got to go, I sample SOS Band,
Yes.
right? So my manager went and asked for the clearance of the sample. Then you have to replay the song because you cannot use the master belongs to the record label.
Yeah.
So you have to replay the whole sample to use it. You have to clear the publishing, clear with the artist, then replay this thing, what I've done. I cleared everything. They even give me publishing on the song, right?
Cool.
Right, which is unheard of. And then I made the song, which I follow the same bass line of the original, and it's the same sample. It's just a loop of a sample going over and over.
Okay.
This kid did this song 3 years ago, sample bootleg the song,
Yeah.
never asked for clearance, never
Wow.
think, put it up on YouTube. A YouTube channel picked it up. And then one day I wake up and I see a video of I'm exposing Cedric Gervais.
Yeah.
They stole our song.
Yeah.
And so he started writing me on Instagram before he puts out this video. He goes, "You stole my song." I say, "Excuse me, who are you?" And I have no idea who they are. He goes, "I made this song. You know you're lying. You stole my bass line," which the bass line is from the original song. I say, "Oh, you're the bass player from SOS Band?" He's like, "No, you're playing with me, this and that." I reply, "Go fuck yourself." I don't want that.
Yeah.
So then he did this whole video exposing me. I had
Yeah.
to sue the kid. It's just
Come on.
retards that don't know the music business.
Yes.
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 Right?
Yes.
I never seen the song. And even if I would have seen his video,
Yeah.
do you know how many people sample the same sample
Yeah. Of course.
and
Hundreds.
redo the song?
Yeah.
And fortunately, I've done it better than you and the song blew up, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
never heard the song.
Yeah,
But to tell you there's haters out there because their career are going nowhere and they're going to try to do everything, which I've done the right way. I cleared everything. I've done everything the right way. I got the authorization.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I never heard those guys' songs,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
their version sucks, right? And it's just they put a kick and they have the original sample on the back,
Yeah.
bootleg. They stole the artist's song and released it
Yeah.
without authorization.
Yeah. So there you go.
So they're actually in the wrong.
Correct.
Yes.
But they're trying to expose me. So then every website picked it up and whatever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make his music, his ghostwriting. And I said,
Yeah.
okay, bro, I don't
Yeah,
have
no,
time.
we saw the video. The way you responded to him on the DM, you
would've
killed
done
me,
the
bro. It
same
was
thing.
amazing.
Yeah,
I
you saw
love,
that video, right?
I love the way you responded to me. Like, bro, who the fuck are you?
So when do you get more into? First of all, I want to ask in terms of your label. When it comes to young talent, is there something specific that you look for, or something you like, you see, and you're like, okay, this kid's got it.
Well, the music, their
course.
personality,
Okay, cool.
the way they act, the way they are, and
Yeah.
it's very important to me to see if they have a charisma or stuff like that.
And is it more with people that you meet in person? Is it like has it been maybe that you've just heard a song online and you're like,
Well, this
who the
guy,
fuck is
Rafi
this?
Saint, saw me at EDC Orlando years ago.
Okay.
And he just show up at the end of my set. He goes, "I'm a huge fan," and start talking about the sets that I'm doing. You're inspiring me. I'm making music. So I said, "Send me your music." So I started listening to his music. And I said, "You're not ready yet. The music is not ready." So it took him 5 years to get to his ad. I'm helping him out. Now we're working together. We're making songs together.
Yes.
I just remixed the last David Guetta with him.
Yeah.
I'm Good, which we went #1 on dance radio in America
Yeah.
with that remix.
Yeah.
I'm saying is like it took him 5 to 6 years to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell him, trust me. And then what I also did is I took him with me. I say, you need to see the world and you need to understand how this business works. So I say, you're going to come with me as my tour manager and you're going to meet all the promoters. And we went to Qatar together for the World Cup. I took him to everywhere. So now he went to Vegas, he went to San Francisco, New York, Chicago, all this, meets all the promoters, see the thing, how it works. This kid was just in Miami going nowhere.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he sees the world.
Yeah.
Came to Asia with me, came to Middle East, this festival, that, ultra, this, that. So I'm showing him the rope. Now he's in a room with David Guetta. He's in the room with the Swedish House Mafia. When Swedish House Mafia is the biggest band ever for him. It's like he's a biggest idol. Went to San Francisco. Steve, Seb, they're my boys for years. Invited me backstage with them. I was chilling before their show with them. The kid is there looking at them like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But the most important thing when you're in the room, it's how you stay in the room.
Yes.
That's what I always tell them. I say, I'm opening the doors for you, but now you have to stay in that room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you find yourself getting fulfillment now from mentoring these younger artists?
Of
Because I
course.
feel like
Of course.
a lot of people we talk to, they get to a certain level and they're super successful, and their next way of, feeling that fulfillment is helping others get there too.
Correct. I mean, look at David Guetta, what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's this more successful DJ in the world, and he still works hard, still helps talent DJs everywhere, signs records with other guys, signs DJs under his name. Like, it's insane.
Well, he actually did that with some Toronto guys. Zach, Jacko.
That was Tiesto, yeah.
Oh, Tiesto. Sorry. Not
Tiesto did
David Guetta.
that with
Torres,
Deco.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Deco,
They were
yeah.
from Toronto.
That's my
It's
guy.
like buddies,
yeah.
yeah.
I love him.
But yeah, I think that's definitely the next play. I actually want to circle back. You mentioned Dave Grutman. I know we were speaking a little bit off camera. For us, for a lot of people, he's the fucking king of Miami, like hospitality. I want to know how you guys met and became friends and got close.
We met years ago. Dave was always like the marketing genius in Miami.
Yeah.
He was always the one that brings all the celebrities to Miami. He had all the connection, everything. We worked together in the past with Opium Group and everything. And then when we're a friend, I was friend with Dave when at the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
I'm still friend with him. He's been there for me so many times. He always gets mad at me because he says, "You forgot to thank me at a Grammy." That's the biggest thing. Like, still
Still to this
he
day.
keeps telling everybody, "You never thank me."
You gotta win
at a
another
Grammy."
one now.
Yeah, I'm trying to win another one so I can say, "Hey, thank you, Dave Grutman."
There you go.
He really helped me for my career.
Yeah.
He's like the nicest friend. Like, it's everything. I mean, I'm in movies in Hollywood because of Dave.
Yeah.
With Mark Wahlberg. Like, I'm saying,
Yes.
like, the power that Dave has is insane.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and I saw the way he grew in Miami, like by taking Live. You know, I went with him the first time he went to Ibiza. I was with him when he realized that DJs were going to blow up, would be the next thing. He realized that in Ibiza. He came back and he's like, "We got to book DJs now."
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what he did at Live, and Live blew up.
Yeah.
Right? He had the
the next
vision, he did it, and then all the restaurant he opened and all. I mean, there's nobody better in marketing and connection than Dave Grutman in the world.
Agreed.
The king.
In the world.
Yeah.
I'm
He's the
telling you.
king. He's the king.
It's crazy.
It's pretty incredible
And
what
you
he's
said
done.
about tennis. If I know, because he said he
I
was
don't
beating
think you
you a
want to
couple
talk
times.
about this, okay? Because he's been playing tennis for like 5 years now, every day with a coach.
Yeah.
I play tennis once a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
With
First
Dave.
of all, it's called tennis because you don't serve.
Yeah, it's true. It's
his
called
own,
tennis,
Yes.
remember?
Yeah.
his own thing. It's called tennis. It's fake tennis. And every time I come, I whoop his ass.
Yeah.
And everybody knows, right?
You hear that, Dave?
Yeah. So that's not a good subject.
Okay. Okay.
you just look at me.
Change the
No,
subject. Change the subject.
So you mentioned even before we started that you're investing in new businesses and stuff like that too. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, what I was doing when I was making money is I was investing in real estate. So what I was doing, I was like, I don't want to pay rent.
Yep.
I want to own my own house. And then I figured out in Florida, homestead. When you live in a house for 2 years, then taxes, you don't have to pay taxes for your gain on the house, right? So I say, I'm going to buy my house. I'm going to redo this house. I'm going to fix it up. And in 2 years from now, I'm going to sell it and then move to the next one, make money, move to the next one. And that's what I started doing at a very young age. My first house was 22 years old.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So buying houses, yeah. At the time when they were giving crazy loan with 10%
Of
down.
course, that's what I was
Yes.
gonna say.
Right?
yeah.
So I did it. I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I did it. Sold, made 300,000. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Bought
Yeah.
my next house, fix it up. My grandfather was helping me fixing up the house. Made 600,000.
Yep.
Then I kept going, kept
Yeah.
going, and kept going. And I understood that. And I kept, making money, rolling the money over to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Then I start buying 2 things. And then
And you keep it going,
and then
flipping 2.
renting, and then all these things. That's why I
Yeah.
started doing it.
So while you're at Space, you're also renovating houses at the
Correct.
same time.
Yeah, no, I swear to God.
Yeah, you have to. You have
That's
to.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then even like, would you ever get into other businesses, hospitality or anything? Like that?
I own a restaurant in Aspen and a club in Aspen. My first one that I opened, and I'm opening many ones. It's called Madamushi. It's a Japanese restaurant. It's the hottest restaurant in Aspen right now.
Sick.
We have Gala, which is the club here.
Yep.
Gala in Aspen, which is incredible. This year I had my friend Geta playing,
Yeah.
Stevie Aoki, Diplo, Sophie Tucker,
Yes.
Sean White that did his own party there. Like it's our first year, first 3 months we did,
Yeah.
and we rocked it. It's my first
Venture
thing in
into
the
that.
nightlife, that I've done. And now we're opening Denver. We're gonna open next Arizona, Scottsdale,
Of course.
and I'm opening also a famous restaurant from Paris called L'Avenue.
Cool.
It's like one of the iconic restaurants, and we're opening this in the design district as well.
Beautiful.
Sick.
And these are all, I guess, like you're coming onto these projects as a strategic
Yeah, I have
partner,
like Gervais
right?
Hospitality that I start a company,
Oh,
and I'm
sick.
starting
Cool.
doing those projects.
Yes.
And then
And then what? I guess I'm interested in this. What do you try to bring to the table when you come and partner up with these venues, or you start a venue, you start a new?
well, definitely the
Restaurant.
club in Aspen. My knowledge about club, like I
Cool, of
designed the
course.
sound system. It's every DJ that walked in there, they're like, I never heard. I actually took the 11 sound from 11. 11 created their own sound.
Yes.
Called the 11 sound.
Yep.
So I called Gino, the owner. I said, Gino, I want to represent 11 in Aspen. I need a deal with the system. They came and they designed the system. It's one of the best systems you ever heard.
Sick.
I swear to God, every DJ Diplo played, he was like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
So I designed the club. I run the club. Restaurant side, my partners is Matt Zingler from Rolling Loud.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jojo and Mo that used to work with Grutman. So those guys have knowledge about hospitality. So
Yeah.
what I bring to the table is, I guess my name brings people. And then when I'm in the restaurant, people love to see me and I talk to people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I live in Aspen, so it's easy for me to go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm learning in the restaurant, so I don't really I give my input on the food, right?
But you know what you're good at.
I know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I know how to run a club,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to run a restaurant. But
Yes.
I know food's supposed to taste because I'm eating in the best restaurant in the world all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So that's all I say. But I let them run this thing, which is running perfectly now.
So when it comes to all that, I mean, you have a lot going on. How long, like, what in terms of DJing, do you see yourself doing this for your whole life? When do you think you're gonna stop?
I don't know. I just love it. I
You
keep
love it,
doing
right?
Yeah. I don't know when I'm going to stop.
I wanted to ask you this because I feel like, and there's been a lot of, rest in peace Avicii, of course. DJs have a hard life.
Yeah.
It looks like fun and games when you're watching them, but I could imagine all the stress that comes behind the scenes and you flying there and you performing there. How were you able to stay mentally balanced throughout the last few decades?
I think staying healthy. I don't know. I always wanted to do the shows on the weekend and come back to my house very early. Like when I go to Vegas, I would perform in Vegas. Some DJ would stay an extra 2 nights and party in Vegas. I would leave at 6 a.m. in the morning and go back to my house.
Right away.
Because I wanted to have like a normal Monday. I want to wake up, go to the gym, make music, eat healthy.
Yeah.
That's just my,
What do you
set-
what do you think made the difference between you thinking that way and a lot of DJs that maybe get sucked into the toxic side of being a DJ or nightlife as a whole?
I don't know.
Because you might see it too with younger DJs or just DJs.
Of course, I
yeah.
mean, I've seen it with Avicii.
Yeah.
Like he was a friend. Like it's. I think Avicii, they just overworked him.
yeah.
Like
the
he
people
I don't
around
know how
him.
many shows he was doing a year. I think that's insane. On the body, it's insane. On the mind,
Yeah.
everything.
The hours.
So
of
was there
traveling,
ever
yeah.
like moments where you said like, no, chill, I gotta chill for this week or I can't
I
do this?
actually recently when I went to do the World Cup in Qatar,
Mm-hmm.
I did like 28 shows in 28 days.
Holy.
Yeah. At the end of it, I looked at my tour manager. I was like, I want to take the whole month of January off. Like I'm losing my mind right now. Like this is
Yeah.
crazy. Because every night was a festival during the World Cup.
course.
Yes.
Then I went to Saudi Arabia. Then I went to Thailand for a festival. Then I went to Indonesia for a festival. All in the period of 28 days.
Yeah.
I was like losing my mind. I was like, I want to rest. This is crazy. And then I tried to have January off. I still
good
had
luck.
shows. I had to
Yeah,
do the shows,
right.
whatever. But I can tell. I mean, when Avicii was doing like 300 shows a year, like
year,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
How do you'll
seen
go
that,
crazy like
yeah.
mentally?
Yeah.
So I'm curious. You've literally performed everywhere in the world at this point. Is there one specific venue or festival that you're just like, this was the best thing I've ever done, the best show I've ever had, or even a place that you just love to go back to?
Well, Ibiza is the place that I love to go back. When I play
Yeah.
Ushuaia with David Guetta, it's
Yeah.
like one of the best spots in the world.
We gotta go, man.
It's
I see.
insane. Oh, it's insane. Coachella was really like a high moment for me.
Yeah,
Playing Coachella, performing Coachella.
of course. The biggest. Would
Yeah.
you say biggest festival in the world?
No, this bigger festival. It's just like very prestigious
Yeah.
festival in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Okay.
you say you play Coachella, you really have it. Because they don't book, they don't repeat the artists every year.
Yeah.
Ultra will repeat the artists every year, all
sure.
the other festival, which Ultra is massive. It's just Coachella is like you have to earn your right to play Coachella. It's like really
Yeah,
crazy.
it's different. It's different.
What advice do you have for a young DJ? Maybe a 19, 20-year-old DJ right now that's
Start
coming up.
wearing earplugs. Yeah,
It's the best advice.
trust me. Wear get earplugs, put it in, and never take it
So
off.
let's say you were 19 years old right now.
Yeah.
What would you do differently now that you see the way the world is now and you wanted to be a DJ?
Well, I started in a different world.
I know.
Very different world.
But you see kind of both worlds. You've got to see both.
I say make music, and then go right to the artists on Instagram.
Yeah.
DM the artist. I just saw a guy in Aspen that reached out to me, a DJ from Aspen that wants to play my club and produce music. I listened to his music. He reached out to DJ Snake. DJ Snake replied to him, I love the song you just made. Let's talk. I might take it for myself. We produce it together. He just sent him a DM.
Crazy.
This guy is nowhere. This guy is not DJing anywhere. He's producing music. So I'm saying, I say, make music, send it out there, send it to all DJ. One of them are going to open the thing and listen to it.
It's true.
Do you wish you had DMs back in the day or what?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Of
'Cause
course.
I had to go to shows
Yeah.
with CDs in my hand and hope that the guy is not going to throw it away and actually put it in a CD player and listen to it.
Yeah, it was so much harder. Now they just send a DM, click it, play it. It's like, oh, this is
Yeah.
good.
It's crazy.
We got our famous question for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give
I
it
mean,
to him.
first of all,
Yeah.
I want to say thank you so much for inviting us to your space.
Oh, you're welcome.
Doing this
Thanks
has
for
been an
having me.
absolute pleasure. What a story. Holy shit. You're a legend here. And I think,
Thank you.
just appreciate you giving us the time. But we are the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness. Do you, Cedric, believe money buys happiness?
I think money buys freedom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Freedom is happiness.
But the thing is, I never thought about money. I always did what I did, not thinking about money. Always thinking about doing what I love.
Yeah.
And I was never worried about money. I mean, this is not an advice that I'm giving, but it's just like some people do things for money and forget about what they're doing.
Yeah.
I never thought about I have to do this because I have to make this amount of money in my life.
Yeah.
And material, like things for me is not like buying expensive stuff is not very important to me.
Yeah.
But it gives you the freedom, you know what I mean, to do whatever you want, to go wherever you want,
Of course.
on vacation, explore the world, or help other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go skiing in Aspen.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, skiing in Aspen. Yeah.
Yeah. And bring up other artists. No, for
Appreciate
sure.
it, man.
Correct.
Thank you.
Cedric, once again, thank you so much. We
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it. And guys, if you're still here, and I know you are, you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like the video, let us know what you thought of the interview. We'll leave all of his socials. You already know him. I really shouldn't have to do that, but we'll put it anyways. Thank you so much. And Dean,
We're out.